Phasmophobia, the scary ghost game that will make you question your life choices and your friendships too.
Do you want to play hide and seek?
I would feel guilty to at least not warn you about playing this game at night, unless you do want to crank up your paranoia to 10 every time before you go to bed because you thought you heard the door close halfway across your house. However, if you are looking for a scary game to play with or without your friends, then I would recommend you give this game a go. For whatever reason, the character in the game decided the best way to get paid is to become a ghost hunter and also gather 3 of his friends to do the same thing. Now, the job is fairly simple. All you need to do is arrive at the area, identify the ghost, and leave. Well, if it was that simple, the game wouldn't be much of a scary type of game. You see, during the investigation, the ghost will either be cooperative or less than cooperative. It's not all bad, at least you're not going in empty-handed. Well, kind of. Since you are an intern, the equipment you are given at the start is essentially the bare essentials. You don't get anything crazy, so you pretty much have to make do with what you have, and at some times dealing with certain type of ghosts, you might as well not have anything at all. With the information I've given you, take this for example. You'll arrive at your destination and then take the items in the van. Usually it's best to take a torch and a thermostat, and a third item being anything from an EMF, or I'd say a camera would be nice just to set up in the room once you've found the preferred ghost room. You can do this by using your thermostat and staying in each room for a few seconds to see if the thermostat drops in temperature. If it continues to drop and then stays at a low temperature, then you've most likely found your ghost room. Once you've found the room, this means that you can then set up further equipment to help you identify the ghosts within the house. Usually some equipment will need you to be a bit more proactive. For example, the ultraviolet light and the spirit box. Both these items can't identify the ghosts if you just simply leave them in the room and do nothing, unlike the dots projector and the camera. With the UV, the ultraviolet light, you can actually pick it up, and then if the ghost interacts with the door or the light switch, you can see traces of this on both the door and the light switch. Sometimes the ghost won't interact with the items, or more accurately, the ghost won't leave behind ultraviolet evidence even if it does interact with the light switch or the door. Not every ghost will do that for you. The same as the spirit box, not every ghost will speak back to you if you choose to use the spirit box to get the evidence to identify the correct ghost. However, the longer you are in the dark, your sanity then begins to drain. And when your sanity reaches a certain threshold, let's just say this is where the fun begins. There's a variety of thresholds that the ghost will then perform a hunt. As the hunt begins, the ghost will lock the door, flicker on any lights, usually the ones in your hands or your torches, the lights in the house, and give you a small grace period, usually a few seconds, before it starts to hunt you. During this time, you can only do a few things to prevent being caught. The best way to think of this is like hide and seek tag. You can hide in cupboards, you can hide behind boxes, you can hide behind almost anything that will break the line of sight of the ghost. The only problem is the ghost can hear you, and the ghost can detect any electronic equipment that is active on your person during the time of the hunt. Typically this will be an EMF reader. If you do have that on, even though if it's not in your hand, the ghost can detect that and will find you even if you are hiding in a cupboard. It will just open the cupboard and then yank you, and then it's game over. The best way to avoid this is by turning off any electronic equipment and making sure you do not speak. If you do this, the ghost will just aimlessly wander around the house or a set location trying to find you, or simply just detect any hint of your whereabouts. Once you do this for about 30 seconds, the ghost will then stop the hunt and you're free to leave the house. The front door will open and then you can escape. This is essentially what you'll be doing: investigating, searching for clues when you find the right ghost room with the various equipment you'll have at your disposal from the van, and playing cat and mouse with the ghost along the way. Now, some investigations will be easier than others, where the ghost will simply just give you a plethora of clues and evidence for you to identify it, and others won't be that easy to deal with because they'll just want to fight you on sight. However, this does lead into my favorite part of the game, and that's simply the interactions you can have with the cursed objects. The cursed objects add a bit of spice to Phasmophobbia's gameplay. Let me tell you some of my top picks. Firstly, the tarot card. The tarot card essentially is Russian roulette, but you're playing Russian roulette with your friends and the ghost at the same time. You see, certain cards have certain effects that can affect you and your team or the ghost. For example, the Hermit tarot card will force the ghost into its preferred room and will lock it there for 1 minute, whilst you have cards like the Sun and Moon tarot cards that can increase or decrease your sanity by 100% respectively. You then have cards that are a bit more hostile. For example, the Death tarot card will, let's just say, invite the ghost for a game of hide and seek prematurely, whereas the Hanged Man tarot card will simply eject you from the realm of the living. Now, there is a bit of a catch when it comes to the tarot cards. When you pull a card, it has a chance to change into the Joker tarot card, meaning the card you initially pulled will be void and no effect will take place. This can be good or bad. For example, you can pull a High Priestess tarot card and that would usually revive your teammate, or if you do pull the High Priestess card and no one is dead, then it will just save it as an extra life, like you got a 1-up from Mario. Then if they do, or anyone goes under, then they'll simply just pop back up to life. However, if that turns into a Joker card, that means it is void. There are a few more little things about the tarot card deck, but I'll let you find that out for yourself. Next up is the Ouija board. It works exactly how you think it does, but there is a bit of a catch as well. You see, the Ouija board only has a set amount of questions you can ask it. You can find these questions either by looking them up online, or you can switch your speech in-game to text-to-speech and then interact with the Ouija board. By doing this, it will bring up a menu that you can select from and it will ask it that question. This cursed object can be very helpful. For example, it can tell you the location of the bone evidence for your XP. It can potentially tell you if the ghost is actually in the same room as you, or it can tell you the location of the actual ghost. It can just tell you where the ghost is. As useful as this cursed object is, there is a catch you need to pay attention to. The Ouija board's questions have a set amount of sanity it will take from you in exchange for asking the question. For example, if you ask the question, "Where are you?" or "What is your location?" it will drain 50% of your sanity. Whereas if you ask the question, "How old are you?" it will only drain 5%. The problem here lies in the amount of sanity required to ask said question if you don't have enough sanity. For example, if you ask the location of the ghost to the Ouija board and you don't have 50% sanity, let's say you just have 45%, the board will drain your sanity, break the board, and then cause a cursed hunt. Cursed hunts are longer than your regular hunts, and on top of that, it will shorten the grace period the ghost would usually give you when it's about to start a cursed hunt. To add on to that, any hunt after a cursed hunt will then just be cursed. All the hunts after a cursed hunt will be cursed hunts. Secondly, another thing to watch out for is when you're not using the Ouija board anymore, if you don't need to use it, you need to say goodbye to the Ouija board, because if you don't and nobody is near the active Ouija board, everybody walks away, it will break the Ouija board and then start a cursed hunt. And lastly, the one thing you should never ever do when you have a Ouija board is ask it, do you want to play hide and seek? And last but not least, my favorite cursed object in the game, the monkey paw. To be honest, this is arguably the most broken cursed object in the game. Imagine you had an infinity gauntlet, but it was made out of glass. Every time you'd use one of the stone's power, it would shatter a piece and damage your hand in the process. Essentially, the way the monkey paw works is you make a wish to the monkey paw, but it also takes something from you in exchange for making the wish. For example, you can wish to trap the ghost. This will force the ghost into its favorite room and
I wish to trap the ghost.
For a minute. However, after this minute is over, it will then lock the front door and then cause a hunt to initiate. To be honest, this really isn't that bad, because within the minute of the ghost being trapped inside its favorite room, you can just simply walk outside the house. Once the door closes and initiates a hunt, you just wait for the hunt to be over and then you can go back inside the house. So you might be thinking, how is this useful? Well, once the hunt is over, you can actually go into the house and look for the room that has a lock symbol on it, or look for the door that has a lock symbol on it. Since you wish for the ghost to be trapped, you will then simply by default know, oh, this room has been locked. Oh, so this is the ghost's favorite room. Cool. And you wouldn't even need to use a thermostat or any other locating equipment to find the ghost, since you locked it in its favorite room due to the wish. You just go in, set up shop, and there you go. Everything's pretty chill. Another wish you can make, though, is wish to leave. Now, this wish is pretty useful if you aren't paying attention when making the previous wish, I wish to trap the ghost, because you can actually trap your teammate or yourself in that same room as the ghost if you don't know where it is, or if you made the wish by accident because you left voice chat on and you were speaking and the hand said, okay, I'm gonna do that then. This wish will unlock the doors. I believe it should lock all the doors to the house or what area you are in, and you are able to leave. Even if the hunt is actually ongoing, you can make this wish and it will open the front door for you and you can just get outside and you're free. The only problem with this wish is that when you make the wish, it will slow you by a drastic amount and it will impair your vision temporarily, and after a few seconds, I believe it's 5 or 3 or something like that, then you can run at normal speed, see at normal sight, and you can just leave the house because the front door's open. This is pretty good, but there are 2 wishes I usually focus on. The first being I wish for knowledge. This wish is, in my opinion, the strongest wish you actually can make out of all the wishes, but it also comes with the heaviest cost. You see, with this wish, it will cross off one piece of incorrect evidence, as well as crossing off a handful of ghosts that are also incorrect. However, what will happen in return is that the ghost will be teleported near the wishmaker and then a hunt will begin. Not only that, but you will also receive impaired vision and impaired sight for the rest of the investigation after making this wish. This only affects the wish maker, so one person is essentially handicapped for the rest of the investigation after making the wish. The best way you can avoid this is just simply by hiding in a closet, making the wish, and then waiting for the hunt to be over. Or you can actually do a combination of wishes of wishing for knowledge, wishing to leave, and then waiting for all of that to happen, and then quickly make a break for it whilst the hunt is happening if you need to leave ASAP Rocky. Another wish I really like is I wish for life, or I wish for my friend or teammate to be revived. Now, this does exactly what it says it does. It revives your teammate and it just brings them back to life. Whoever was first taken out by the ghost, so say for example 2 people were taken out, the first one to be taken out by the ghost is then revived, which is all cool. It just costs you your life if you aren't really lucky at winning 50-50 bets. There are many interesting interactions and secrets to find in the game. Not to mention, I didn't even speak about all of the cursed objects you could find hidden in the map. Phasmophobia is the Ghost Hunter starter pack that is a worthy option if you're considering a game to play during the spooky season with or without your team of ghost hunters. If you like what you heard, why not grab your torch, your glow stick, and ready up, because we've got some jobs ready for you.